Hey everybody, so today I just wanted to do a quick video on how to use the SMTP functions in LabVIEW. So if you don't know what SMTP is, this is a simple mail transfer protocol. So it's a way to basically send emails using an SMTP server. So that way, if you have a test stand or whatever you're programming, right, you can basically send out automated emails. Those could be alerts, they could be statistics, they could be data, all sorts of different things. So it can be a very useful tool in LabVIEW. So if we go to our data communication section of our palettes and go to protocols, we have this SMTP email section. So there's a few different functions in here. First, I just wanted to show there is an Express VI. So if you drop that down, basically here you can go input all of this information, where the email is going, where your email server is, your SMTP server, which port you're using, if it requires authentication, like a username and password, also a flag for just using like TLS or SSL, recipients, subject, message. So, and you can actually just click send test from here and it will send out the email. So you can actually validate that, you've got everything configured correctly. I don't really use this very often. The other SMTP functions are pretty easy to use and they offer a few different advantages. So we first have this open handle. So this is always what you're going to be using first. We have this server address. So this is going to be a link to your SMTP server. So there are a lot of different options in terms of SMTP servers that you want to use. So you can always, host your own, or there are different paid and free versions. So for one example, Gmail does have an SMTP server you can use. You need to create a Gmail account, and then you basically create a authorization for an application to use SMTP essentially through your account. It'll have its own, credentials and whatnot, but that way you can use the Gmail SMTP. SendGrid is another good option. They allow you to send up to 100 emails a day for free. And if you wanted to use them, it's just smtp.sendgrid.net. So there's a bunch of different options. Just depends on you. There are also paid options that have different benefits and whatnot as well. Next, we're going to have this from field. So this is the email that it's going to come from. So for example, this could be, hey, test stand 1 at example.com. So wherever this email is going to be coming from, depending on the SMTP server that you're using, you're going to have different options in terms of what domain names can be used. So it's going to be a function of what your SMTP server that you select. Also, depending on the domain name you choose, there could be a chance that it gets blocked by different email providers. So you got to be kind of selective in terms of what you select here. You have a username and password. So if you have an SMTP server, for example, that does not require authentication, you do not need to connect these. But if you have one that does, so for example, SendGrid has you use API key as the username, and then your password will be the API key. So this could be a whole bunch of characters and numbers, just a random API key there. And there's this other flag for using TLS. So if you don't, it's going to be basically unencrypted, and that uses port 25. If you select true, this is going to use TLS, which I believe is port 587. So depending on your requirements and the SMTP server, right, depending on how it's set up to connect, you'll have to match that. So yeah, once you've set up the handle, now we can start configuring our message. So I can set recipients. So I can connect that. So I have options here for to. So this would be who the email is going to. And you can see it's just an array of strings. So I can send this to as many different people as I want. Just add as many email addresses in here as I want this to go out to. You can also CC people, and you got BCC. So you can kind of configure that, just whoever you want this email to go out to. There is also an option for adding attachments. So I can add this in, and here we've just got a list of those files. So we can pass in different, kind of lists of files, and these will all be included as attachments to our email. So that way we can programmatically include, documents, reports, status logs, whatever it is we're trying to send out. Next thing I want to show, we have this set message function. So I can connect this here. So we've got a subject field. So this will be the subject for our email. Test email. And then we've also got our actual message. So here's where we include basically the body of our email, whatever we want it to say. There is an option, so there's message text. You can also do message text HTML. So you can pass in HTML that basically defines all the style and characteristics of the email. So if you wanted to do that, you can, or you can just use text, and basically whatever you type here is going to be included in the body of your email. So that's basically what you need to set up a email. Once we've set it up, there's this send function. We can just drop down and connect that in. So we have a couple options. We have this timeout. So this is how long you want to wait on your SMTP server to either deny your request or give you a confirmation that it went through. And then it does output this list of invalid recipients. So if you had any bad emails in here, or non-existent or whatever, this will just let you know that those emails were bad. And that's pretty much it. This will actually fire off your email. And when you're done, you can close out the connection. Close that handle. And that's pretty much it. Now you have a fully blown automated email sending through LabVIEW. You can also do similar stuff using .NET. So .NET in the system, there's some the system assembly, there are some different SMTP functions in there. So you can also do similar stuff using .NET. But this is basically all you need to be able to send out emails. You basically just need to make sure that you configure everything properly to connect to your SMTP server, and which one you use is totally up to you. Like I said, there's free ones out there. Gmail is a good example. SendGrid is another. You can set up your own. You can use different paid services, etc. And that's pretty much it. That is SMTP in LabVIEW. Thank you.
Canon Controls is your gateway to mastering LabVIEW. Dive into programming for data acquisition, industrial communications, and manufacturing automation. Explore how to enhance your projects with cybersecurity best practices. Join the journey to elevate your skills and secure your systems with every episode.